Welcome to Nostalgia TV. I'm Excel.
This your girl, Vicky Secrets.
And we here
We are
in
back.
this room with a living, walking legend
Of the 757.
of the 757. The Hampton Roads better recognize one of their generals when they see him, man.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
that,
His
man.
brother, I've been a fan of his journey for a very long time, bro. And you have not disappointed me. Thank you for allowing me to have the best seat in the house, front row.
Yeah, Excel, you part of that story in that journey, man.
We got Amir Driver in here.
Yeah, what up,
Hey.
yo? What's up?
So Amir, he gave you a little light
Yeah.
introduction.
Yeah.
He usually goes ham.
No, but hold up, because I got something for the brother. Because over here we don't give flowers.
Right, we do-
We give
we do
Victory
not.
Cigars.
Right.
Okay.
So we're gonna pass that on to the king.
Yes.
Spark that up
Pass
at
us
your
your-
leisure.
Facts.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And
That's your
enjoy it.
victory cigar on your victory lap.
Facts. We still running.
You know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying?
Yeah. So congrats, bro. And of
Yes.
course, sponsored by Vakila. You sipping on that
I am
Vakila watermelon.
Vakila watermelon.
You know what I'm saying? And I would like to have your give me a little feedback while we
So-
got you on live.
on ice. This is something right here.
Okay.
You know, this is really
It hit?
something.
Okay,
right
it's been
here.
it's verified.
And that's
It's been
watermelon
confirmed.
flavored.
Watermelon flavor
Summer.
Vakila.
Vakila.
Shout out to the
You gotta
sponsor.
drink it cold.
Okay.
For sure.
But nah, bro. Again, thank you for allowing us to get this opportunity to have a sit down with you. I know you're a busy man. You've been doing a lot,
Yeah, man.
and it's an honor to have you here, man.
Appreciate y'all having me, man. For sure.
So, I guess we can give him a few things. So, Amir, you are a recording artist,
Yup.
entrepreneur,
Yep.
and I would even say community activist because you do a lot of things in the community.
At this point. Yeah.
So, I gave 3 things. We're going to let you go ahead and take the floor and give him a little bit more about who Amir Driver is.
Outside of those things, husband,
Outside of those.
father, son.
Yes, congratulations on
Appreciate
you
you.
on getting married. We're going to get to that too. We're gonna
And you know
get
what?
to that.
Just cheers, cheers to men up.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the level up to the men up. You know what I'm
Facts,
saying?
facts.
Salute.
Right.
Cheers. You know.
But yeah, so we're gonna get to that later. So husband, father. Did we miss anything else?
Son, friend, brother, good guy. I just try to keep it 100, man. Nothing too crazy. Amir. That's it,
What I thought was very interesting about you is that so many people know you, yet people don't really know you.
Nah.
So you say, okay, so what you guys know about me? Like, you know what I mean? Tell me something. I be digging. I be trying to get the tea on y'all, just to get a better feel for what type of interview we're going to be giving.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, I know him. He's a cool dude, but like nobody really knows anything about you. You have a super mystique about you. Is that purposely done, or is that just your way of just who you are?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
It's a little bit of both because I am from the I'm from the era of like the mystique adding to the whole allure of the artist.
Right.
So for a long time, I was like, you see me in passing, you hear and familiar with me, but you just got to get close to talk to me. And I kind of kept it that way.
Absolutely.
So it was like people would see it and hold me in higher regard in a sense because it's like, I don't see dude
Absolutely.
all the time. And when I see him, he doing what he doing, he getting off and he leaving.
And everybody knows you.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
know.
almost like, damn, I need to know who this person is,
who
right?
this is, yeah.
So it's effective. It's working.
Yeah,
It's
it's
Absolutely.
working. But you know what, bro? I remember because I think I could be wrong with the time frame, but you and us, we have a history. Because I remember the first time I had a chance to actually see you was during one of our events. This is way back.
Yeah.
And what I really loved and what I have enjoyed the most about your journey, you haven't missed. You don't miss no steps. Like you didn't cheat the game.
Yeah, nah, not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at
Because when we
all,
met
man.
you, bro, it was at the Road to SOB's joint that
Oh,
we
our
did.
very,
the
very
first
first
joint that we
one.
did. This is like
Yeah.
almost 5-6 years ago.
It
Right.
was. You
And-
guys were my first booked and paid show in New York.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's dope,
I
bro.
didn't know that.
Like, we got to drink to that. Can we
I
drink
did
to
not
that?
know that.
Can we drink to
And I
that?
tell,
I did not know that.
everybody that. I tell everybody that when anybody asks, like, yo,
That's
who's Excel? I be
crazy.
like, nah, if Excel call for anything, bro, I'm pulling up because bro had a showcase event and it was 100. It was everything that they said it was gonna be.
Right.
I went out there. It wasn't based on favoritism. It was based on talent, and then from there, all of the bells and whistles that was supposed to follow. And that just for me at the time was kind of like a a reward for the work that I was investing, you know, because like when you do a lot of work around here, you don't really see many things happen outside of this area. But I was like, damn, all right, somebody came in, they acknowledged the fact that I was dope, and then with that I was able to take it and they showed love and took me elsewhere. When I went to New York, they was loving the nigga in New York too. So, you know, it was dope. I appreciate y'all for that opportunity.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Real. So anytime, you know.
I mean, that's just a testament to, you know, your talent, really. You know what I mean? We just saw, you know what I mean, what you brought to the table. So, yeah, it's crazy because that was like how many years ago? 6, 7?
About 6, 7 years.
Yeah, like 6, 7 years ago.
But you know, that's when I started becoming. When I had the privilege to see you. You know what I'm saying? See your story begin from my perspective, right? But let's talk to me about the Amir before that. Before we met you, like, you know what I'm saying, your upbringing. Wait, are you from Norfolk?
Yeah, I'm from Norfolk. I'm away from the town. Yeah, for sure. I grew up in Norfolk, born in Norfolk. My mother is an educator in Norfolk. She's a principal now. She's been an educator in the city ever since I was like young. So like that's a lot. I'm known in my area from a lot of different perspectives, you know what I mean? But it just kind of like all kind of came to a head once I started doing the music and the clothes and stuff. But like I said, my mother was a teacher in the city, and she was like a very popular teacher, so a lot of people knew I was Miss Driver's son for a long time. Right. Then, you know, I was an athlete for real, so a lot of people knew basketball. Yeah, a lot of people knew Driver could ball. Amir was pooping. But then when I was like, I ain't playing basketball no more, it was rap. So just my progression and development through the city is kind of how everybody is familiar with me. A lot of people are familiar with me from a lot of different things, but it just all just grew to this point.
It all came together.
Yeah, it all just made sense at the end. But yeah, that's just me, man. I'm just a town baby. I'm from the city, man. Like I lived all over Norfolk. Like I said, by my mother being a teacher, that just made me familiar with a lot of different people from the area. When she work in different schools, I'm coming to the school, you know, so on and so forth. So people just were always kind of familiar with me. Not even being funny, it was kind of like the same as it was now then, because she would be in places and I would come in schools and neighborhoods that I didn't go to, and they'd be like, yo, who is that? Right. Like, oh, that's Miss Driver's son, but they didn't get a chance to talk to me. They just would see me. So if you see me out someplace else, oh, you know what I mean? And it kind of was the same thing. So it's like a lot of people were familiar with me but didn't really get to know me. But then it was like once they saw me doing certain stuff, it was like, yeah, I know, bro. He always been cool. So, you know. It's,
point of why I think I asked somebody like, hey, you know who Amir Driver, where he's from? Somebody was like, yo, I think he's from New York. I'm like, bro. Like, if I don't know nothing else, I know he's not from New York. So now I can't even ask you that. So anyways, but yeah, so I mean, just the whole mystique thing, like, I mean, it works. And I think that a lot of artists nowadays don't really understand, you know, how beneficial that could be to you as an artist. I mean, just in your story alone, look how it's just everybody's like, yo, who is that? You know what I mean? Like, who are you? You look like you're somebody they want, instead of you putting all your business out on the internet 24/7. You know what I mean? And everybody knowing everything about you, your baby mamas, your you know what I mean? Your you know, all of that extras that we don't really need to know.
I always kind of felt like discretion was important also, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody ain't got to know your business. Right. You know what I mean? You know what I want you to know. And that's enough, you know.
Absolutely.
And where did you develop that consciousness?
My mama. No bullshit. My mother, man. For sure. My mother was always just one of those people, like, you always got to keep your professional face on. You know, like I say, about her being inside the whole education system. Right. The mom I knew was not the mom I saw when she would go to these places, and she would always explain to me, son, you got to be able to code switch. They don't need to know everything. You know, there are certain things that you have to keep to yourself. Everything ain't for everybody. You know, and that's just kind of how I always have played it. So yeah, I definitely attribute that to my old.
And your dad?
My pops is in the picture also.
Okay.
Shout out to my old man. I don't never want nobody to think I'm like single parent home and household, nothing like that. My parents were together briefly, you know what I'm saying? My father suffered from alcoholism when I was young, so it wasn't a whole bunch of him being in the picture when I was younger. But he always has been around, you know what I'm saying? Now that's my dog though. You know, he all clean, so my pop's been sober for like 20 years now.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Yeah, for like 20 years now. So, you know, that's my guy now. We had our rough patch, but now it's all love though. That's my dog for sure. He helped with a lot of the older store.
Nice. I actually saw an interview where you talked about, you know, your parents and your dad being more on the entrepreneurship side and your mom being more on the education side. So being that you are, you know, an artist now, an entrepreneur yourself, how did you choose, because they both seem like they were strong influences in your life, so how did you choose which path was the one for you?
So I always knew I wanted to be a musician. Like I always knew I wanted to be a rapper. I always knew if you ask anybody that knew me from like high school, they'll say Driver was rapping when he was in 9th grade. I always was like, this is what it was gonna be. When I got old enough and was in the working force and working world, I was like, yo, this is cool, man. But it just never felt fulfilling. You know, it was one of those things where I was just working for a check. And you have to sustain and take care of yourself. So that's something we had to do. But I got to a point I was like, yo, am I happy? Like, this shit is killing me every day. I got to wake up and go to this place of business and play a place of employment and not be fulfilled. I got to figure out what's going to bring fulfillment for me. And I was like, yo, this is the only thing I know that makes me happy every day, waking up, being Amir Driver, you know, being the artist, the entrepreneur, being myself every day, you know. And that's really what made me say this is the route that I have to take. I've had numerous jobs. I've had career jobs. I've had professions. I've had real, you know, sources of income, man. And I just was never happy until I got to this space, you know. I have quit some of the best jobs. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And if you could just explain that, because I think that you said that a lot of people that aren't entrepreneurs don't really understand that concept. Like, they can't understand leaving somewhere where you get a check every 1st and the 15th, right, every Friday, every other Friday for what you love to do.
Right.
So in your words, like, how would you explain why that was your choice rather than to get what was safe, I guess you would say?
The peace of mind, man. It came from just knowing every day I woke up, it didn't feel like I was stressing myself out and forcing myself to do something that made me unhappy. You know, because that starts to wear you down and beat you down physically outside of other things. You know, you mentally start to feel like, damn, man, I can't get right. Something's not right. Even if you are making the money, you just aren't happy. And that's because you aren't fulfilled in what you're doing. You haven't found what makes you feel whole. And for me, that was more important than whatever financial gain I was getting from the jobs that I was working at whatever time it was, you know, because I knew that I could always make some more money, you know, but being happy is something that you got to live with every day. I can wake up every day and be upset going to this job, or I can say, the hell with this job, maintain my peace of mind, get my happiness back, make myself comfortable and figure it out. Because there are so many different avenues that are possible for you to make income, to do something. You just got to figure it out, you know. So for me, it was once I'm happy, once I am in a place of feeling comfortable, maybe not financially, but with where I am, you know what I mean? We can figure it out from there, you know? So.
Right. So, okay, so you were rapping in high school. Yep. We're just going to take it back a little bit. You were rapping in high school. It was decided then that, you know, this is what you want to do. So coming out of high school, was that the plan, or did you?
Oh, for sure.
It was the plan, so you started off there.
But what actually happened that made you say, yo, this is it right here?
Oh, man, I knew it was it when I was in 11th grade. I ain't gonna lie to you. I put a mixtape out in high school, like, so. And when I was in high school, everybody was battling. Like, I had jumped off the porch. I was battling guys in a barbershop, taking money from older guys and all this stuff. No joke. But when I got to like 11th grade, I was like, man, I ain't trying to battle nobody no more. This ain't. I keep beating y'all. It's not fun. I had lost, and I took it real hard. I was like, man, you know what? Let's just start making music. So I started putting out mixtapes, and when I was putting out the mixtapes in high school, I was really on the ground with it myself. Like, I was 100, 200, 300 CDs handing it to everybody in every school in my city, you know what I'm saying? So the response that I got from that let me know, oh, I could really do this. You know, it wasn't like, all right, you battling everybody or you just rapping the street. Nah, I was making songs and hooks, you know, and they was, yo, Driver, to my ladies to the left, and my lady, you know what I mean? Just people were reciting the raps back to me then. So I was like, oh, nah, this is real. Like, this is what it's about to be, you know? So I just had in my head that I'm A Driver the rapper. That's who I am. That's what it's going to be. So even through the course of me trying to work jobs and things of that nature, they always knew he's a rapper, you know? I had a job, man, as a banker once, working for a bank. And when I went in for the interview, the branch manager was a young chick. She was like 26. She was like, we Googled you, and you're a rapper. I said, what? She said, yeah, we Googled you, because we always do that. We Google the people that we're interviewing before they get here just to see what comes up. And you've been in a couple publications as a rapper. You're almost there, huh? And I was like, I mean, I'm coming to get a job. I can't almost be there. And she hired me, no funny shit. She gave me a job. And anytime I had any gigs or anything, they would come. You know what I'm saying? So
that's dope.
It's always been a situation where I've always kind of put this first in front of everything else. Even when I would be in other spaces, man, they just always knew. The last job that I can recall having prior to owning the store, last 2 jobs, I worked at DTLR as a store manager. I got fired because I had a show at SOBs.
Oh, word?
You feel what I'm
Damn,
saying?
you got paid anyway.
Not that show.
I was about to say, like, damn,
wasn't that show. Wasn't that show.
I was like, you got him fired.
Nah, man.
Oh, man.
A little later, my second time coming to SOBs,
Okay.
I was on a tour with Real Carter.
Okay,
I was part of
okay.
Real Carter Culture Tour. We had a show
shout out to Rel. He doing his thing.
We had a show at SOBs, and the show was booked like 2 days prior to, and I couldn't get any coverage, so I just, fuck it, I'm gone. I had somebody come fill in for me real quick. I ran. Somebody snitched on me. They said, Driver, we gotta let you go. I was like, cool. You know what I mean? After that, I got another job working at a sneaker store, and then I got the opportunity to open my store, so I just left that one. But, you know, everything was always, this was first. Everybody knew that this was Amir's priority. Amir was on a mission to get wherever he was trying to go to. So if something came about that would make me go left or right as opposed to staying here, I'm ghost. Like, so, yeah, it was always known.
I noticed because in the industry, right, it's hard to disconnect from your personality
Right.
and the alter ego that you create.
Right.
Amir Driver is your government,
Yeah, that's me.
and it's also your moniker, right? Your stage name.
yeah.
So how do you turn that off, turn it on? Like, how do you distinguish yourself when you're going about your day to day? Because if Amir Driver the artist and Amir Driver the businessman and Amir Driver the husband, like, how do you go about?
I compartmentalize everything very well. You know, I have figured out how to compartmentalize very, very well. A lot of that, I think, has come from me not having a switch to kind of on and off. You know, it's just me, but I know I'm me here now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't ever got I'm super tough A driver now. Nah, I'm a Amir always, bro. I can always maintain myself. I just know how to deal with certain things differently in certain spaces. I will say that the only time that it slightly becomes conflicting is when I got to be like Amir Driver, the rapper or something like that, and my kids are there, because then it's super funny, because my daughter is like the biggest hater in the world. I love her to death, but then it's like, Daddy, you not a rapper. You ain't no rapper, Daddy. Whose CD is this? This ain't your CD. All right, man. But, you know, other than that, though, I really don't have an issue, though, man. I ain't seen that.
And it's funny that you said that you asked him that, because, somebody that I talked to about him was like, yo, like, I guess they might have been doing an event or whatever, and you came in as you're cool, you know what I'm saying? Cool, real chill, like, relate yourself. And it was like, as soon as they was like, Amir Driver's time, it's like you turned the switch on. Yeah, you were completely different. He was just like, damn, like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you went from, and not even a difference, like, in a bad way. Almost
it just went up. Yeah.
Right, like, it went up to another level. So I was like, oh damn. So it's crazy that you asked him that, because they was like, yo, he like turned the switch on. He was just like somebody different. I was like, oh shit.
And it's so funny that you say that, because I get that so often, man. People be like, yo, Driver, you about to perform? You all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm chilling. I'm like, yo, you super calm right now. You all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm straight, bro. Walk out there, go on stage. What up, y'all? It's like, yo,
right.
Bro, where did that come from?
Right,
Like, and I be like, nah, bro, it's just sitting there. It's just sitting somewhere waiting. You know, and then when it's time, we go. You know, but other than that, I'm chilling.
Nah, but you know what, bro? Like, it don't matter if there's 10 people in the room or 10,000 people in the room.
Yeah, always.
You always keep that
same show.
Out of 1,000, bro. Like,
you
go up there and you do your thing, and you really put up a good show for people. And that's one of those things that I was always excited about, and I was always rooting for you, because I know people will get their money's worth if they support you. Because, you know, a lot of artists always complaining about, oh, people don't support. People don't do this, people don't do that. But it's not the fact that people don't support. It's just that your
people
quality
don't believe.
of work.
Yeah, people don't believe.
Right, your quality of work does not really, it's not at that level that, you know what I'm saying? I might come to one of your shows, but then once I see you there and I'm like, yo, you ain't got it yet, bro. Hit me up when you're ready. But you, bro, from the time I met you, when you came, and you was humble too that day, and you always been humble, but that day you walked in, because obviously it was a competition, the best performer, things like that. But there was something about you, because like you said, like you was just quiet, fly on the wall type of thing. And then the moment you get on that stage, you really grabbed my attention the whole time, and I'm like, yo, this guy, he got to go to SOBs, bro, because you got that, you got it, bro. You always had it, right?
I appreciate.
So how did you, like, who influenced that? And I know you mentioned your moms, but as far as from an artistic side,
honestly, so from a showmanship space, Wale was really like one of the first artists that I used to really study on some stage show stuff, because with him, it was a lot of crowd interaction. You know, I always really study like artists that put on shows. You know, I always say with rap, with singing, the talent is being able to sing. You know, so even if you didn't write the song, you go out there, you can blow and you sing the song, people will be blown away by that. When you go to a rap show, the talent to me, the skill is rapping. So if you go, you shouldn't be rapping over your lyrics at your show. It should be things that you do to show that this is craftsmanship. You take pride in, and you really invest in it, and you putting on a show. You know, because if I'm singing over the raps, like the records, it's kind of like karaoke to me. So it kind of takes away from it.
Yes, please say that. We try to tell artists that the time. Like your show is different.
Yeah, it's different
from you. You know what I mean? From your, oh my God, I don't know why. See, I hate when I start drinking vodka too early because I feel like I start losing words. Anyways, but I'm saying is like your tape that you play while you're performing should not be the same thing that you had to DJ. Like we don't, you know what I mean? It's different. And
you should have a show tape. Absolutely, you should have a show.
I get tired of hearing that. I'm like, bro, why? Yeah. And then it's like now you're competing with the record, right?
And even if you stumble, you can tell, you know, because and for me, that's just always been one of the things, man. Is my first, whatever impression this is that you get me, it's always the first impression. So I always have to make sure that you remember Driver was here when I leave, you know. So the showmanship has just always really been big for me, man. And not to credit my mother, but that's something that my mother would always talk about. Like when I was telling her I wanted to start rapping early on, don't be up there making no noise. Just don't be screaming. Don't just be hollering. Make sure that you making sense. Make sure people can hear you. She would come to my shows when I was 19 and so I can understand the words you said. Pull that mic back some. Like a lot of the early critique that I got would come from her. Just like when I was hooping, like when I would hoop, she would be the one like, I mean, you scored 20 points, but you had 5 turnovers. That was my mom's.
Yeah, that's gonna be me.
You feel what I'm saying? That was really my mama though. Like so, even when I started rapping, it was like, your energy was good. You had good stage presence, but I ain't hear one word you said. You know, and I couldn't really hear you because I hear all the words in the background on the song, and you trying to rap over the words, and then I would pay attention to rappers like Wale's and the Jay-Z's and see that it's no words on these records when they performing. You're getting the artist. So for me, it would just be more of providing myself through show. You know, you gonna hear the music, you gonna get the beats, I'm gonna give you the raps, but you get a lot of me through the show also. You know, and I always felt like that's kind of what made it a little different.
I mean, yeah, no, that makes it completely different because at the end of the day, now they're buying into you.
Yeah, right.
Instead of this music that they don't know, but they can get to know once they know you. Right. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes I guess artists don't get the disconnect is that if they don't know your music and they don't know you, now you're having to sell.
You have to sell.
Right.
You have to sell.
So if you're trying to sell and it's not technically what they're trying to buy, now it's the rap.
Right.
But if they buy into you, now they buy into the music. I'm telling you, we tell them this all the time. They don't listen to us though.
And that's always my approach. You know, and I tell artists that all the time. One of the biggest things is promoting. You can't be afraid to sell and promote yourself.
Right.
You know, and that now is what's going to sell the music more than the music, especially in this climate because everybody rap. So they have to buy into something a little bit deeper than just the content. It's like, I have to buy into the person. So with live show for me, I try to sell a lot of myself in the midst of performing. You know, the records is hard. I know I can rap, whatever. But outside of that, you get a whole lot of little monologue. I might joke, laugh with you and shit. So you feel my personality. And it's like, yo, I really like this dude. You know? And then it's like, all right, he can rap too. Let me go check it out, you know, so.
Right.
But you know what? You mentioned something that does make a lot of sense. Like when you said a singer, their job is to be able to sing and you know, and basically perform at that level.
Right.
A rapper, what a lot of people lack is the understanding of what an MC is.
Right, exactly.
They skip that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could rhyme, I could do this, I could do that, but are you an MC though?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of that comes from the time changing also.
Yeah.
Though, you know.
But that should be a standard if you want to be an artist. You know, a hip hop artist.
Right.
If you in the world of hip hop, in the culture of hip hop,
right,
and you want to hold a microphone, you will be an MC in hip hop.
Right.
You know, that we shouldn't dismiss that. You know, so how do you feel about the new generation not really acknowledging that part of it, of the art form? You know what I'm saying?
I honestly think it's a lane for everything. I had to grow to that space for sure, but I definitely think it's a lane for everything. Just looking at a lot of my little young homies out here now that I have relationships with that don't approach it from the same space that I do, you know. And it's like the music that you make isn't bad, you know. When I go to your shows, I get it. It's a vibe. The energy around it is what people are buying into. So I can't denounce it or discredit it because it is a form of art. It's artistic value to it. So much so that I can't do it. You know, just like they can't do what I do. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a good way to look at it.
So, but is that more so? So that's another like. So is it more of an artistic thing, or is it this just a wave or fad of what's going on at the moment? So technically, you know what I mean? Like, is that actually an art form? Because technically, art is like something that's lasts forever, right?
Art, yes, art should be something that evolves. Like wine,
right?
It just gets better with time,
Right.
Real art,
right?
Because everything is not art. Some shit is just bullshit. Like,
that's true.
Let's just keep it real.
That's true.
But I understand your perspective, though. You know, just respecting the effort.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because at the level that we happen to encounter ourselves with the up and coming artists that's out here now, most of them are still in development.
Yeah.
And obviously, out of 100, maybe 1 or 2 might be able to make it.
And you know what's so crazy that you say that, man, is a lot of them don't even understand that they are in development right now.
Yeah, I know. Because the internet makes everybody feel like they're they're over here. I'm telling you, we deal. Listen, from when we started to dealing with hungry artists that wanted to learn, they wanted to know, they wanted to do what Jay-Z, not like they wanted to be that, to now it's like, I want one hit, I'm out of here, I don't care about none of that.
Nope.
You know what I mean? I got 100,000 followers, you can't tell me nothing, but y'all are the same artists that you can't get somebody to buy a ticket to your show. And it's like, the reason behind that is y'all missing that so there, right? Because you're missing all these steps. You think that the followers, the likes, people comment, how much time does it take me to do this? Nothing.
Right.
But how much effort does it take me to pay to come and see you?
Right.
That's the difference. Right. And so, you know, with that being said, through this time that because you've been in the game for a good little minute around, right? And through all of it, you know, just listening to your music from then to now, you've been able to sustain you within this process of ever changing and evolving in rap and hip hop.
Right.
So just kind of just give us like, how have you been able to do that to keep yourself and not fall victim to jumping into fads and waves and, you know, what other people are doing?
I think it's because I am from like that transition of what hip hop is to now. So I'm still from an era of you having to know how to rap to actually still be considered to be good. And it's like, so for me, guys like Jay-Z and even Nas were like pedestals for me. So it's like, all right, they could rap to anything. So if it came on and it was dope, they gonna go and they're gonna be themselves. They're gonna find a pocket that fits and still be themselves and show that still show that skill and talent. And that's kind of what it was for me. Like, you know, all right, I see how music is changing. I'll kind of follow. If the sound sounds like this, all right, I'll find a way to be myself in that, you know. And I think that was always the thing for me that made me be able to sustain, is that I would never go far outside of myself, but still exist in what was going on. You know? If the sound went left and I'm on the right side of things, I'm going to stand in the middle. Like, okay, I can still rap, but y'all doing this. I'll show y'all I could do this if I wanted to, but you still going to get this, though, to know it's not the same.
Right.
So that's kind of what it was. I feel like if I ever jumped out there and started to like try to mumble rap, niggas would look at me like, Driver, what are you doing, bro? Like, I can't get with that. Like, you know, you reaching, you doing something that's not real. So I always, like I said, try to straddle the fence with being an MC, a lyricist, and still doing all of the whatever's going on in the time.
And you do it well. But you know what? There's so many layers to you, right? And I'm excited about this part of the interview because Vicky has a segment called This or That.
Okay.
And we want to tap as much layers as we can.
Okay.
With this segment.
Yeah, because you definitely have. Listen, out of a majority of our guests, I feel like Amir, though, no bullshit, like we literally, like, so we break it down into parts, right? Because our motto is changing the narrative, right? And it's also, we feel like we give our guests an opportunity to really give it from their point of view. You know what I'm saying? And for you to speak on whatever it is that may be out here. So usually it's like, okay, whatever they do, where they came from,
Right.
what you do,
Right.
and then you know what I mean, where you're going,
Right.
right?
Right.
So with you, it's like where you came from. You went here, you went there. So it's like, yo, we gotta try to fit all this in.
Right.
So our this and that, our this or that for you was definitely, we had to think about it. Because usually this or that is kind of like, you know, it gets kind of spicy. We kind of ask off the wall questions. So crazy. I mean, no. So you already know. XL's like, nah, I think you should ask him whatever. I'm like, nah, I'd rather, because I watched a lot of your interviews.
Right.
I definitely appreciate that you are. It's almost like you had media training. I promise you. Like you're super articulate. You know what I mean. You know how to answer. You know how to just the whole going back and forth. Like I was just like, yo, I want to ask him.
I appreciate you for
absolutely. Like I was just like, yo, he's so smart.
I care about that type of stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So I've had my Breakfast Club interview 1,000 times in the bathroom.
In your head. Oh, listen, you gonna ace that joint.
So
you gonna ace it because you're very articulate, very smart, very well thought out. English on 1,000. So, so I was like, you know what? For this or that, I feel like I don't really want to go to that end. I want to go to more of on the mental side because you are, super intelligent, and I feel like that what we can get out of that will be more beneficial to our viewers than going all that crazy mess.
Okay.
We might do a little song, but not too crazy.
Okay.
Right. So
are we gonna take a break?
To kick off,
are we doing it now?
No, we're gonna do it right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I really want the audience to understand who you are, at least from this perspective, before we continue with the interview, right? So to kick off the this or that, you got to pick either one, right? Either one of the other, right?
Okay.
One or the other.
One or the other. So we'll give you two options. You pick one or the other. Old school hip hop or new school hip hop?
Old school hip hop. Old school hip hop.
So why do you lean more towards old school hip hop?
Subject matter, content, and sound. Now it's very disposable. A lot of the sounds from when I say old school hip hop, I mean like 90s hip hop for real. Not nothing later than that. 80s hip hop is cool, but it's kind of like too vintage for me. But when the sound started to transition in hip hop, and it was the influence of, I'll say, like soul sample and heavy bass line, heavy drum kick, East Coast rap and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Man, different feel. It's a different feel. And you know that because even now, when it comes on, the reaction that you get from even the younger generation that might have been born when the song came out. You know what I'm saying? It's a different
classic.
feel. Yeah,
classic
the feel
records.
is different.
Okay.
Jay-Z or Nas?
Hove.
And I mean, you answered up pretty quick for obvious reasons.
So what's Hove? What is Hove? Why is he your top?
Reasonable Doubt came out on my 8th birthday.
Wow.
25th, 1996. Right.
You was listening to that?
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all a story. So look, I told my man G the story, and he was laughing. So my cousin Anwar, I have an older cousin named Anwar, and he was a big Wu-Tang fan. Right. He has a younger sister named Tanika. Now my cousin Nikki, her is a super Jay-Z fan. Right. Now, when Dead Presidents came out, it was something from the Wu came out around that time also in like 95. Right.
Right.
He went to go get the tape for himself, but he had to get something for her too. You know what I'm saying? And having to get something for her, he ends up getting that. Some way or another, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the first cassette that I
feel like you don't want to tell us that part. How did you get the tape?
We cannot disclose said information.
It's so old. He probably been lying about this for years.
But for a fact though, like one of the first cassettes that I got, this was like Parental Advisory, was Dead Presidents, and then after that later, I got Reasonable Doubt on CD. You know what I mean? When it came out in 96 though, because my cousin Nikki had got that. Something else came out then, and they had got that and was like, here. I always got my music from her, ironically enough, because she would be like, here. You know what I'm saying? Like after Reasonable Doubt, the project she gave me after that was Volume 2. Then after Volume 2, she gave me Volume 3. And then after that, I was just on it on my own. Like, you heard Blueprint yet?
Yeah.
You heard Black Album yet? And it's that's like my older sister. So we always been kind of linked in through that. So that's why, because just from a space of real rap and hip hop, that's the first thing that I was kind of introduced to. And it's just like watching Jordan. You know what I mean? For me, like if you grow up and you see, damn, this is the guy, and he just continues to be the guy.
Right.
It's like, yo, you can't. So that's just what it was. So that's really why though. But Nas now, Nas now I hold in the highest of regard as an
me
old,
too. I feel like Nas aged like fine wine.
like wine, man. Like for me,
did.
cause I'm 30, I'm about to be 35 now, so I feel like I'm like in the mature rapper space now. Nobody I don't feel like has matured like Esco, man.
Right.
Like as a rapper, like even from a space of content, it's mature, but it's still super fresh. Like he hasn't fell off at all. So now my love for Nas
and looks nothing.
Yeah, he's still
I
Esco.
mean, that's what I'm saying. Swag on a million.
Yeah, he's still
you know
Esco.
what I mean?
So it's like for me now, he's like very, very high regard, but Jay-Z over everything though. Definitely.
Okay.
First though.
That. So are we going with Tupac or Nipsey Hussle?
Oh, Nip.
You going with Nip?
Yeah, I'm going with Nip.
So tell us a little bit why you would pick Nip over Tupac.
Because I feel like everything is divine, so I will say that this was the part of God's plan for me. But I will definitely attribute me seeing what Nip was doing to why I felt like all this was possible for me. You know what I'm saying? Because prior to Cuz dying, it was like, yo, I rap and I got clothes. He rap and he got clothes. He put this stuff together, package it, brand it, sell it, market it, and people tapping into the whole thing. Why don't I do the same thing? You know, it makes perfect sense if I've already seen this motto work in a market that's not too much different than what I'm in now. You know, Crenshaw is widespread because it's in South Central LA, it's California, but it's still a small area. You know what I'm saying? In retrospect, if you can market, brand, and promote your space and make it work, why can't I do the same thing if people already respect me as an artist in this climate? So for me, that's my blueprint. You know, I tell everybody all the time, Jay shows you where it can go, Nip show you how it can get started. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why Nip for me, for sure, yeah.
Okay. So independent or industry?
Man. I think it depends on the situation. So I will say independent just because the ownership aspect of it, the control aspect of it, you know, the return, you don't have to pay anybody any residuals, but you are using all your own income, you know, you're using your own finance, you are the end all be all to the success of it. So it is a lot more pressure oftentimes that comes with being independent than having that overhead of having the label and having people do certain things for you. But the control is just different, you know, because I myself am so used to running the ship myself, you know, and all right, we going this day, we going that day, this is what we're doing. I'll say independent, but if that check coming, they like, hey, driver, we got, I'm about to be like, you know, figure it out, you know. But yeah, for now, independent though, for sure.
Okay.
Would you rather work with people that have talent or work with people that have passion?
Yeah, we gonna get your wheels turning.
Shout out to Vicky for
I'm gonna say passion. Definitely.
Passion.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say passion because I know a lot of talented people that do not have the passion for what it is that they are talented in, and I have driven myself crazy trying to make them find the passion to do the things that they are talented in.
I'm telling you.
Like it's guys that have been on my team that I have provided crazy opportunities for outside of just doing stuff for me, doing things on their own, and they just, I get that shit. I'm like, what? Like, bro, this person trying to take you.
Yeah, I think
like,
talented people have a little bit of this. It's so they're so good. It comes so easy that they don't feel like they need to work at it.
Right.
They feel entitled.
It's a low key entitlement.
Yeah, it's a sense of entitlement. And you know, someone that is truly passionate about what it is that they're doing, even if they might not have the best skill set or best talent level, the amount of work that they're gonna do is gonna overcompensate you for the amount of or lack thereof in another space. So definitely passion. Passion.
Okay, cool. So what do you think is more effective? Social media or word of mouth?
Wow. That's a great question. And it's weird. And so I am again in the middle with that because I am from the word of mouth era and the social media space. Like prior to social media being what it is now, I was an open mic baby. So I was out there burning up open mic stages and people were just running around the city saying, you heard of A Driver? You seen A Driver?
Right.
And I've seen how that word of mouth has created intrigue for other people. But social media, man, it's so, I'm gonna say word of mouth.
I was say, yeah. What has worked more for you?
I'm gonna definitely say word of mouth. Reason being is because that is kind of like direct to consumer. Right. You know what I'm saying? It is if you see me and you see me at a show and you see that I do whatever, and then you go yourself tell somebody else, yo, I saw this guy named Amir Driver, he had the show and it was crazy.
Social media gives them the easy access to find you.
That gives me the access to find me because it's such smoke and mirrors, man. Like you said, like I see people, man, they'll have 30, 40,000 followers and likes, and I'm like, yo, you can't sell a show ticket, like
right,
bro,
$10. Listen, we deal with this all the time.
Tell
like
people
$10.
all the time, man. Like, and it's crazy, and you know, being in the independent space, I have to pay attention to my analytics and stuff like that just to see how things are working. So I tell people all the time, like, man, you might have 30,000 followers, but you don't even have 10% of them people engaged. They're not even buying into what you got going on. So what's the purpose?
Right.
You got 30,000 people doing nothing. I got 8,000 followers. 10% of those 8,000 are engaged. Every fucking, excuse me, I don't know if I can curse.
No, you can't.
But every time I put something out, every time I put a product or anything out, I can see that, okay, 10% of these people are going further. 5% are going even far enough to purchase whatever it is that I'm doing. So I take my 8 as opposed to your 30,000.
Yeah, because that 800 turns into 400,
right.
and those 400 buying, like, yeah, $10 a shirt.
Come
we
on, man.
There.
You feel me? It's a different game when you start looking at it like that. So, and a lot of that stems from you saw me at a show and you told XYZ, and XYZ went and looked and saw that it was what it was. So,
right.
yeah, word of mouth. Word of mouth.
Okay.
What's more valuable, time or money?
Time. Because, you know, that is the irreplaceable of irreplaceables, man. You know, and it's certain things that, like I said, as I get older, I start to value a lot more. As I got married, once I started having kids and stuff like that, with all the success that I'm having, it's a beautiful thing, man. But I just be so upset. There are days when I really have to, like, sit in my car for a second and just, you know, be like, Lord, I know that I ain't giving my family as much time or my kids as much time as I would like to, because I'm just trying to be successful for them. So forgive me, but I'm trying to, you know. And that's the biggest thing, man. You know, just presence of time, because you can't get it back. You know, I can always find another way to make $1. I can always make something back that is feasible or tangible. But something like time, once it's gone, you know. You miss your son taking a step, you miss whatever. You can't get no, run that back. Let me, you know what I mean? Don't crawl again, bro. Get up and walk.
There's no reset button on that.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So definitely time. Definitely.
Okay. So, God-fearing woman or free-spirited woman?
Both.
Is there such
this
thing?
nigga want his cake and eat it too.
Both, man. Both. And that's my answer. And I'm sticking to. Right.
You're literally only supposed to pick one.
Shout out to my wife.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm gonna let you go ahead and go with that, because you pick either one, you in trouble. Okay.
Yeah.
So, traditional man, or this new age traditional man, being that you pay the bills, you take care of the house, protector, provider, all of the above, or this new age who is split 50-50.
So I can only speak for how my household is now.
Right.
So it would be traditional.
Right.
In a sense, you know. My wife, she just went back to work because she wanted to go back to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a traditional, I guess, in a sense. But there's nothing wrong with having an equal partnership, you know, because times are different and pay scales don't vary as much as they used to. You know, a female can make more than her husband in this current climate. So if that's what y'all relationship is and that's how y'all got it working, cool. You know, my wife wasn't working because when we got pregnant, before my son was here, I was like, nah, man, don't go back to work. And she just kept it moving from there, but she just got tired of being home. So it just depends on what works for you, man. It's all in what works for you. I will say, like I said now, because things...
I don't know if I could... Well, okay, so look, we're going to devil just a little bit, because I don't want to get too deep, because this can go on for hours.
Yeah, it just
but just think about
this.
I'm saying in a sense, though, because I mean, for me, like, both of you two, you know what I mean, the traditional aspect of this, right? So I'm saying is, if we go into this whole 50-50 thing, how does that affect the levels in your house?
It definitely affects the dynamic, because the expectations have to be different. You know, if it's like, all right, you cook. If my expectation is that you are going to be the one that cooks and cleans the house and things of that nature, I guess that, your expectation could be that I take care of all the bills. Now, if we are going 50-50 in this space,
right?
If I don't cook today, then you supposed to cook today. Nah, I cooked yesterday, you cook today. It's the dynamics do change in that space. The expectations, I'll say, change in that space. So it's just it's
I feel
all
like the expectation is a light part of it. How about just I think that I think me and X had talked about this before, but like women are like natural followers to a leader, right?
Right.
So when you have a dynamic where the woman is maybe paying majority of the bills, how does that affect that dynamic at that point?
Oh, it definitely affects the dynamic at that point.
Right.
It definitely does, because now, like you said, the women are followers to a strong leader. Now we are equals. So I don't necessarily see you as the lead. I see you as not to
you
say
see,
that
even as an equal is dangerous. I feel like it is.
It can be.
Look
It
at
can
Gabrielle
definitely be.
Union's
It can
situation from back. I don't know if you guys
Her
heard
previous husband.
from a previous husband. Yeah, previous husband. She was making more money than him, and she felt entitled to go out and do whatever she
And
wanted.
cheat.
And,
Yeah, she was just like,
She-
I
she
pay
was
the
out
bills.
wilding, yeah.
I'm a cheat.
Yeah.
I feel like providing is such a big part, and I feel like that's why that is the top one of usually a man's. I mean, protect,
Yeah,
provide.
provide, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if you're not providing,
Right.
it's literally like, okay, so now I'm providing for you. Now the scales are tipping. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the respect factor starts to.
you know what? Just
Go
looking
ahead.
at the environments that I've been in, like a pimp. He's not a provider per se, right? He's a leader, and he will teach the woman how to go get it. But the respect has always been there. So it's possible for a man
'Cause
not
he
to bring finances to the
Because you
table.
get beat up to do it.
No, but
That's
I'm just
not
saying.
the
But I'm just saying.
same.
It's possible for a man to not bring finances to the table and still lead
Yeah,
a woman.
if you're a pimp, no. But on that dynamic to work, he actually does what I mean. I heard.
he protects.
I actually talked. No. I heard a pimp actually on a podcast. So the dynamic only works because it's psychological. So he tears her down psychologically and then comes
Yeah.
back. It's almost like I'm gonna build problems,
Right.
and then I'm also gonna solve these problems for you. So now you look at me like I'm some fucking god when I actually caused your problems. You know what I mean?
Hegelian
There you go.
dialective.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what they call it.
Right.
All right.
So, you know what I mean? So I was just, I wanted to know where you stood on that. But for a fact, like, I know, like most females that I know that are in that
Oh yeah. Once,
space, it's just the respect factor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not respecting him because he's not providing in that same link. And even men, it's like, if you are like, nah, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do, I want 50-50. It's like, okay, cool. Just know that you're not going to get the same respect as you would get in your household. What your household look like ain't going to be with your household. So you shouldn't have those same expectations. You know what I mean? So,
that is very true.
right.
Trust or loyalty?
Can you have one without the other?
Yeah.
It's possible. So why don't you think you can have one without the other?
We did our homework, man. We want you to, this is what we needed.
Listen.
Right here. So your wheels spinning. We want you to think. You're a thinker, so this is good.
Absolutely.
This is real good.
And this is why we gave you these questions.
Right.
They say trust
I thought
and loyalty,
hard.
and it's like, so, man, I'm gonna say loyalty.
Smart man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Smart
loyalty.
man.
I'm gonna say loyalty.
The Bible says, "Trust no man but God."
Yeah,
But you can be loyal to people because you could believe in people.
right.
See, there's a difference, right?
Right.
It's a difference between believing and trusting somebody. I trust this chair to be a chair,
Right.
but I can't trust the nigga down the block every day because one day you could probably be drunk or one day you could probably be hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you could switch up on me at any given moment,
Fact.
depending on the situation.
Okay.
So that was a good answer.
I appreciate
Good answer.
you keep that peace
Salute.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
You got that.
Oh my God.
do you feel like
Hold on, what we about
You might want to take a little sip of that
Hold
Aquila.
on.
Shout out to the sponsor.
that Excel
Hold on,
like-
about to go.
like,
Take a little sip of the Aquila.
All right, let's
Shout out to the
get it.
sponsor.
That's all.
You go on your little sip.
the fact that Excel was just like you got
Right, he just passed.
Yeah, I'm
the
not.
ball.
I'm just gonna
So
alley oop
quick,
that.
like-
I'm just gonna alley oop that. You got that. Go ahead, B.
Oh my God. Okay, so are you dominant or submissive
Oh no, I'm the dominant.
in all aspects?
Yeah, man. And I be trying not to be all the time, you know, because my old lady be like, you gotta sometimes you gotta like this stand up. Just relax. Which y'all be trying, man. Like, you know.
She's gonna be mad that you mimicked her like that.
Like, you know,
She was like, oh, that's how you think I sound. That's how we
nah.
gonna take it. Oh, you think I sound like that?
Yeah, nah, I be trying to fall back, man. But it's just like it's one of them things where I try to be more submissive with her than anything else because I'm normally,
where it matters.
Yeah, I'm normally in the lead in a lot of the situations.
Are you trying to be submissive or are you trying to just compromise?
No, man. Nah, I'm gonna say it's submissive. It's submissive. It is. I definitely like it. Everything falls off in that space. You know what I'm saying?
Respect.
So it's whatever you need, I got. Whatever you trying to do, we doing. So yeah, that's when it happens. But outside of that, it's definitely we doing this way. Let's go this way. You know. So yeah.
All right, so our last question: love or power?
Oh no, love, man. Love. Yeah, power is a scary thing. Power is a scary thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Scary thing. And I ain't even gonna. And I just, not to say I'm like a super powerful person now, but like I've just seen people do wild stuff to try to get in the good graces of me because they feel like I'm somebody.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, yo, bro, this shit ain't nothing. Like y'all tripping. Like,
but you think that.
Yeah,
but I told you, the mystique is what people not knowing what your power is.
True.
Is why people move that way.
Yeah, very true.
You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Very true.
So the fact that you understand that power is a scary thing, furthermore, makes me respect you. And the fact that you are so authentic, you genuine, you know what I'm saying? You very grounded, you rooted. Because in this business that you in the entertainment business, right? Because whichever way you want to see it, you gotta entertain people to keep their attention on social media. You do an exceptional job with that, so you gotta be an entertainer. Man. But in that business, people compromise their morals, their values,
every day,
integrity, every single day, bro.
Every day, bro.
But I've never seen you go left with that, bro. So that being said, how conscious are you of the way you conduct yourself out here as an artist and as a businessman?
Super conscious, bro. I think all of the things that I have, all of the different paths that I've led in life have led me to where I am and understanding how to move in spaces. So like, all right, like I said, my mother was a teacher, right? So my older brother got locked up. You know what I'm saying? I ended up working in the school. My mother got me a job as a PE teacher, but I was still a rapper. So, when you are working in a dynamic like that, there are certain things that you can't do publicly, in certain ways that you have to carry yourself at all times. If not, you're going to lose your job. Right. So I was like 18, 19 as a teacher's assistant, still rapping outside, moving in a certain way. So it was like, everything I did, I kind of had to do under the radar, just in case a parent saw me out or another colleague saw me out as a driver or things of that nature. So that always kind of was one of them things that just made me aware, bro. Like, you got to it's a certain way you got to carry yourself at all times. You are an entertainer, but it's still a profession. You are still a professional. You still want people to respect you and carry you as a professional person in whatever setting you're in, and a lot of that just comes from how you carry yourself. If you go out bad just for attention or whatever, people are not going to respect you in the respect that they would somebody that they hold at high regard. I'm like, don't just look at me and say, oh, that's A Driver, he the rapper, he cool. Nah, whatever. Nah, I'm a respectful individual. I'm going to treat you with respect. You going to carry me with respect. Anybody that you see that mentions me is gonna be like, that's a good guy, That's something I've always kind of prided myself on. It's always been really important for me. So never looking like no sucker, you know what I mean? And just always being me, you know what I mean? So
So has that opened up a lot of doors for you? Because we see you working with the city, we see you working in schools, collaborating with different brands and institutions. So how that experience polished you as an overall brand?
For sure. Man, that is a lot of these things have just come just through the progression of work. A lot of people feel like just because I am genuinely myself and they know what they're getting, it's okay to put me in certain spaces. There's this isn't a lot of stuff I've asked for. It's just come from me just being my genuine self, you know? Like you said, entertaining in a sense, and just being true to what it is that I'm trying to represent and push my area, being progressive, being positive, being yourself, and still being able to get to it every day, you know? So it's just allowed me to be in different rooms and in different settings, you know? Just leaving that positive impression on people, you know, word of mouth comes into play again, and I start getting these opportunities and these looks. And not to mention, you know, the branding represents the city. Right. So people look at me and they say, yo, you know, you are a respectful guy, and then you have respectful branding that represents this area. We want to have you at the table, and it's dope. You know, it's a blessing for real, man. You know?
And I like I said, I see that you're doing, like you said, a lot of stuff in the community. You just performed at the Something in the Water, right?
Yeah, we was all over the city.
Yeah, y'all were doing all of that. You have, you mentioned you guys went on tour with Rail Carter.
Yep.
And I saw that you have a distribution deal with Equity. Is that still in play?
Yeah, I'm signed to Equity. So
right.
when the next project comes out, Product of the Environment, it's gonna come out through Equity. Yep. So they gonna give me we're gonna do the whole bells and whistles thing with that one too.
Right.
So.
And just from like our point of view, like you embody what an artist should look like, even in this new space. That. You know what I mean? Like as far as you have everything, it's because nowadays with the artist thing, it's not just you being an artist. You have to be a brand, right? Yeah. Everything is about branding. So you are an artist. You have your own brand. Yep. You represent, you know, just a great persona. You know what I mean? Intelligent. You know what I mean? You speak well. You can talk to whoever. You're in community spaces. You're uplifting your community. You're in all these spaces, and yet I sit here and I'm like, yo, how is this guy not out here? I mean, just gone out of here. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if they had an artist that represented for Virginia, you know, after, you know, the Pharrell, the Push era, all of this, like it would be personified as Amir Driver. Yeah. Right, Amir Driver. Yeah. Like you take the less effort to have to package up. You know, we have so many artists like, okay, now we got to give music. We got to do all this stuff. Like literally, boom, you're already together. Like, here you go, put them out. Yeah. Like, what do you think attests to that? Like you not being able to get your big break? Because I just feel like, I mean, you personify what an artist should look like.
Right. I think honestly, I think it is because, again, I'm kind of like in that middle ground, you know? So even though I did all the legwork on my own, we're in a climate now where they're looking for certain things that are maybe a little different and outside of what I do, like the whole social numbers thing. You know, maybe I don't have 100,000 followers, or I don't have that one song that people can always reference and things of that nature. So that might be why. Or maybe the right person just hasn't seen it yet. But, you know, I'll get asked that a lot. No, not even.
I mean, even for like the city though, like I just feel like, you know what I mean? A lot of times, I mean, we always hear like you got to pop in your city before you go anywhere else. I just feel like, damn, like everybody literally knows you. They know who you are. They know your brand. They know you rap. Yeah. Like, what's the brick wall here? Do you ever think about that?
I blame myself. I'm gonna tell you, and being 100, I take full accountability for that, because even though everybody's familiar with me, that comes from the consistency of just being present. But there have been times when I haven't put music out. You know, there have been times when from an artist space, I might not have been as efficient with getting the product out and done as I needed to be, and I might have taken breaks. I just have always found ways to stay relevant and in sight without doing certain things. Like I might not have put no music out for 2 years, but I might have done 5 or 6 features, and I might have had 4 or 5 shows where it was a big stage. You know what I'm saying? Just based upon previous work and people knowing I can call Drive and he won't show up. That might be what it is, but going forth, you know, I'm gonna more actively do my due diligence to do my part to get forward, you know, because I got relationships with everybody, and I can truly say I have never utilized a lot of these relationships to the max that I could, you know, because I know, like, it's funny because I can really call anybody and be like, bro, I need you to do X, Y, Z, and they'll be like, all right, cool, with no issue, no pushback, nothing, and I just have never really tried to, like, yo, here's a song, bro, play it.
And that's crazy. So we're gonna talk about that.
So
that's crazy.
Is your focus right now and continue to build the Made in Norfolk brand, or is it actually pursuing your artistic career? Where's your focus gearing toward right now?
So right now we are in the space of both. We are definitely in the space of both. For the past like 4 years, it was really Made in Norfolk. and I would find rooms and pockets to do musical stuff when I could. But by people just being so familiar with me as A Driver, Amir Driver, the rapper, it was always, you a rapper, bro, so where the music at? Or you know me from rap, or
yeah, you're like Rihanna at this point. Like, where's the album?
Facts. right. Not even being funny though, like, you know. And now we're in a space kind of where the branding store is kind of like in cruise control in a sense. You know, it's moving a little bit more self-sufficiently on its own. I'm blessed now where I got a little bit stronger of a team around me, so I'm not as hands on with the store as I once was. So it gives me more time now to get back into the swing of being a rapper, you know. So like I say, this next go round, my focus is putting out product, making sure that everybody sees it, receives it, and is able to take in and understand why people feel like they feel, you know what I mean, about me. Because I think that's the disconnect, is just that the common listener and the common fan hasn't gotten a chance to know this is why people feel like they feel.
Would you be okay with having a solid fan base rather than fame on the scale of what others consider to be fame?
Definitely, for sure. I look at artists like Currency, and I always use Currency because Currency might come out and do 50,000 first week, you know what I mean, physicals, and that's all his money recouping. But outside of the 50,000 units, he puts out a T-shirt, a hoodie, or a Jet Life pack of merch that sold 10 million, and all of these other residual
and he sells out,
and he sells out every drop, and all these.
So it's like, if you know Currency, then you'll come. Like, it's not a everybody, everything.
It might not be for everybody, but that niche
so
audience.
He created a cult follower.
Right. He created a
and
culture
I think
cult.
that you are so capable of doing that.
I mean, bro, I think a lot of people, right, and this is one conversation I've had a lot with different artists, different people. A lot of artists get caught up on in this hamster wheel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they fail to realize that, for the most part, in America is a great place to build your brand, but it's not a great place to make wealth.
Right.
Wealth is overseas. So how open are you to just the idea of actually?
Man, all you gotta do is tell me when. What I got a passport.
Cause like I can like literally see you, like, you know what I mean. I've listened to, you know, multiple of your records. I ain't gonna lie, the joint you did with Marv P during pandemic.
Appreciate that.
Listen.
Yes, I did 10
you know, when you
pandemic,
sometimes, like, you know, when you hear so much of the same shit every day, all day, it's like that verse was a breath of fresh air, bro. Like, I was like, yo, there's no way, bro. Like, this dude is crazy. Like, I'm just saying, I feel like, I was like, okay, we haven't heard nothing from you for a little minute, right? And then you come out with this verse. It's like, yo, where you been all our life? We missed it. What the hell's going on? But yo, that verse is so crazy. And it's like, but it's like, you can go from that to even the Wale type of situation where it's super intimate and you're talking and you're interacting, and it's like the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? So,
you know what, bro? And please,
crazy.
Don't misunderstand. All right. You, in this country, people want to be entertained.
Right.
Around the world, they want to be inspired.
Right.
You are inspiring.
Inspiring.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what you are.
Yeah.
That's
just
the difference.
Your story, everything about you will motivate anybody.
Yeah.
To say, damn, yo, he did it. Over here in this country, I say this country, bro, because I travel a lot. I'm outside.
Yeah.
So I'm always seeing what they doing. And I was just explaining to Daddy just early, like, yo, I was in Dubai. They booking me to host a show, a party, an event in Dubai. I'm nobody, my nigga. Like, but over there, they show you so much love because we already have in this country. We come with this expectation, right. So the world look at, like, you could go to Nigeria, and you will take off,
right.
You can go to Japan,
because they're looking for something different, which is hope, because inspiration,
right. And over there,
you know what I mean?
Hip hop is so accessible to us in this country, so we take it for granted. So now we just want to be entertained. I don't even give a fuck about being inspired.
Right.
Just come up with a new dance or some shit. Make me dance.
That's
you know what I'm saying? That's it. But overseas, they don't see you every day.
Yeah.
They don't see people like you every day. People like us every day.
And they respect the art.
They love it,
of
bro.
music.
So I'll definitely want to encourage you to start exploring. Look at your analytics, as you mentioned earlier, and see what other countries are actually tapping in.
Yeah.
and make an effort. Go out there, hit a studio out there.
Yeah.
Connect with some
And
producers, some
we're going
artists.
to Dubai in December, so yeah.
We going to Dubai in December. I'm hosting a concert out there, so we'll talk about that a little later.
crazy.
We hosting a
So
concert
we're gonna talk
out
about
there.
that a little
It's
later.
gonna- yeah.
But I really wanted you to at least just keep that mind open and that, you know what I'm saying, and just do a little research from your angle, obviously, to see if that's an option. But take this with you, bro. You inspiring. You beyond just entertaining.
Yes. Your
So
story.
that entertainer should leave that shit the fuck alone. You on some other shit.
Yeah,
you could change lives with your story. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that.
Real shit.
And just your perspective on life and the way that you carry yourself. I feel like the culture and the youth are in need of leaders. You know what I'm saying? Of people that they can relate to, that they see. You know, I saw you do the interview, like, yo, the whole Nipsey thing is like, you got to see somebody that made it tangible, right? So you are that person for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy that you say that, because that just shows you how energy like continues and travels, because I've ran into so many like young homies, man, and they be like, yo, bro, you really are like that
Doing
for me.
it, right.
I'm like, nah, man, it's just not. I'm like, nah, driver, listen, bro.
But I think you should embrace that. I know. I honestly, it's like I've run into people like you all the time that it's almost like it's overwhelming for you guys to accept. Like, but that's yo, that right there is life changing, culture changing. It's, you know what I mean. That's the bigger purpose behind everything that you do. You know what I mean. That you give them inspiration, because they don't really have that anymore if you think about it. Like they're people they look up to are fucking in gangs, popping pills, doing all of these things that, you know what I'm saying, it's only going to lead them to two places. Dead or in jail, right? So when you find somebody like you that they can relate to, that's real, that's honest, that's not out here doing this, that's creating jobs in the community, doing for the community, is articulate, is smart, can speak, and it makes it cool to be like, you know what I mean? Like that right there is what you bring bigger than your brand. You know what I'm saying? Bigger than you. So yeah, I think you should definitely, you know what I mean? Just take that and embrace it, because you earned it. You know what I mean? You earned it. You earned it for not, like you said, cheating the game, cheating the process. You did the steps. So whatever lies on the back end of that, like, you deserve it. You know what I mean? You deserve it.
So
absolutely.
So what's the what expectations do you have for yourself moving forward? Like, what's Amir Driver's expectations with these next couple of moves you got lined up?
Radio single, because like I say, the music.
So you are trying to hit radio. You trying to like?
We got one for radio. We got some
good
records. We got some. So like, it's a lot of people are familiar with me from rapping, you know what I mean?
Real rap.
Yeah,
and
like,
I feel like it's coming back, don't you?
I do.
We got the Benny Butchers, we got the Conways, you know what I mean? All these people that are actually rapping, and they still giving us that old school feel to it.
We just did Benny.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I'm rapping, but it's fun. You know, I gave people a lot more upbeat of a sound as you go around. But yeah, just the music, get the rest of the content done. We got a video that we just shot. I got like 2 other ones I'm about to do. Tie up all of the ends on the project, get all the logistics and stuff done, and just figure out the timeline to drop. Because I really want to like make a real push on the music end, you know, because I feel like I truly have not like fully like gone at it one real hard time, you know. It's been compiled interest over the years of me doing a whole bunch of stuff that has gained a lot of respect and notoriety from people, but I don't feel like I really have like sat down and been like, nah, I'm gonna call this person, we're gonna do all this the right way, I'm gonna tap in with all my connections and try to make it work.
You need to do,
you know what I'm saying? So like, this go round, that's my intent.
Real.
That's really my intent.
I think is it because now, like you said earlier, your Made in Norfolk brand is in cruise control now, so you have a little leverage, right?
Yeah, for sure. That too. You know, and with all the work I've been doing, outside of just the Made in Norfolk brand being what it is, just me, myself, as a brand and an artist, I've been doing a lot of work, you know. And it's at a space now where I feel like all of my branding is reputable enough for anybody to stand beside or behind and be like, nah, this is it. And you can put it anywhere and it makes sense. So
absolutely.
So now it's like, we got all of these things together. Let's just do it all the right way and try it and see how it goes.
Was performing in Something in the Water like catapulted that attitude a little bit?
Nah, man.
Or you already had that.
Yeah, so
in?
Yeah, because he been outside a little bit more than I've ever seen him before.
for sure. And but what I will say is that something in the water did like make me more aware of how feasible it is for me at this given time, you know, because I really was all over bro, listen. So so Tuesday we had stated something for the creatives at Prime 255 on Grammy Street.
Okay.
Where they had me on a panel talking to people about creative community and things of that nature. Wednesday we had an open mic. Thursday I think I took it. Yeah, Thursday I went to sleep. Thursday was the last night that I really went to sleep. Friday night I'm lying. We was making shirts Thursday night because we was giving shirts away at Something in the Water. It's all about branding and marketing. So that's what we was doing. Shout out to my dog G. We was in there making shirts and stuff. So we was getting the shirts made to take out to the oceanfront. Friday morning we woke up, went to the oceanfront, set up, vended at Something Indie Water. Shout out to my dog Intellect and Illa from Richmond.
I missed that one because Hannon had his thing at the same time.
We did, yes.
Yeah. So we went to that.
We did Something in the Water from 11 to like 5. Then after that, Friday was done, but I was just out, you know, because there was a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So I was making my rounds. Saturday we had Intellect again. See my man GB out here with me running around. Yeah.
See, the Vakila ain't infected him. You need more.
You got
Saturday morning, we had pull up and pitch. I was just going to go to try pitch, but I also had a news interview that morning, so I didn't get to pitch because I had to do the news interview. And I had a panel. We had a cannabis panel with Styles P, Tahir Johnson, family, my man Antonio. We sat down and just talked about cannabis cultivation and activism and stuff like that with marijuana in the area. After that, got up, took off running. We went to the fashion show. We did the fashion show. After we did the fashion show, we then later was supposed to perform, but the stage was canceled, I think, Saturday. 24th Street. Yeah, 24th Street was canceled Sunday.
Because it rained Sunday.
It rained.
Weather.
Yeah, okay. Yep. So we performed. Yeah, 24th. That was Saturday. So Saturday we did the fashion show. We didn't do nothing Saturday night. We hung out a little bit. Sunday morning went back, vended some more. Went and performed. Sunday we vended it, rained, canceled. We performed at the Bunker that night. After party at the Bunker. I had an after party at the Bunker. So every day I had something going on and we were just out moving around. But in the midst of that though, the interaction with all of the people.
Hope y'all recorded all that.
All of it.
Okay, good.
All of it. You know what I mean? It's all on the social media and all that. Like I said, because I got the news clippings, you know, that's just some more professional resume stuff that I can show people like, yeah, I'm really out here. But outside of that though, it was just like a lot of people that were super receptive and responsive to what was going on. Like that Bunker show, that last show we did Sunday, after that, it was just like, yo, you know, the fashion show, my closer in the fashion show, so the closer walking on the runway while I was performing, and that was cool. The response.
Damn, how dope is that?
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? So we were like, really was all over the place. So that was cool. But then that Sunday night, when I did that show Sunday night, the response from that was just different. And I was like, nah, man, I got to stop playing.
You really do.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I got to stop.
Because, I mean, like I said, I mean, we be seeing you outside, but you ain't outside.
Yeah, I know.
Seemed like you was outside this past weekend.
Outside this past weekend. Like,
I mean, yeah.
Sure.
He need that outside.
Yeah.
He need that. I'm telling you. That's that one little ass outside.
That's
is just gonna put him over the edge. I'm telling you.
And you know it's so crazy because I got that question like a couple times. Like, yo, bro, what you doing here? Like, why you still here? Like, shout out to my man. Damn, man, what's my man's name? He's a comedian. I can't remember my man's name. Man, he just came home not too long ago. Shout out to you, bro. Was it Neckbone? Is it Neckbone? It's man, it's the Vakila.
Vakila, shout out to the sponsor.
Man.
I told you, you forget words. I know, I'm telling you.
After the show,
y'all be thinking I'm playing.
Bro walked up to me, he said, hey man, what we doing? I said, what's up? What you talking about? He said, why you still here? Like, you about to get a deal, you signed, like, cause I ain't never seen nothing like that before. I was like,
you know, you remind me a lot of La Russell.
I appreciate that.
Yo, I'm no bullshit, because like the way that he's building it and how like I said, articulate, smart, and you know what I mean, how he is and the way that he understands like this whole music process, and the actual business behind it. Like you definitely remind me of him, and in the sense of look at what he's accomplished.
Right.
You know what I mean? Dolo,
Listen,
solo. People from the
understand.
community just supporting the hell out of him. You know what I mean? Like,
Russell does shows in his backyard.
and I feel like, yo,
Right.
like
He charges
young,
people-
old.
It's between $1 to $300 to get in. The majority of the people pay $300
And he literally says,
to
pay
get
me
in.
what you think this is worth. Like I like
on,
yeah,
man.
I looked all into his shit because I was like, yo, this dude is crazy with it. But the concept is really dope.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you make people accountable for what do you think I'm worth,
Right.
it makes you accountable for
Right.
putting on a great show.
show.
And it makes them accountable like, yo, this dude's worth more than
Right.
$10. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I gotta give him whatever. It's crazy, the concept. But I definitely think that's something that you could, you know.
But he's one of those inspiring people. So
Right.
you got to use that, right? You take ownership of the fact that you have that level of power. You can inspire people, right,
Absolutely.
to move in a certain fashion, right?
Right.
And you know, you wear all these hats, you know. So how is it that you haven't lost yourself? You know, because the higher you go, yeah, there's levels and then there's devils.
Right.
So how do you keep those devils at bay?
I honestly think it's because I don't ever take it too serious, man. You know, as crazy as that sounds. The humility of myself, all this shit feel like a dream. You know what I mean? And it's like, and that kind of is like why I'm able to always like exist in these spaces as myself, because I'm aware that it's a serious situation, but I never like, man, I can see the bullshit, bro. I see you on bullshit. Because I know that this can't be real. Like, you know, this gotta be bullshit, you know. So I just have always had a sense of the whole scope of things, I guess you could say. Like, I'ma always look at things from a full view. So, and I think, like I said, a lot of that comes from me thinking of a space of like, this shit can't be real, you know. So because it's not real, I gotta kind of like overly look at everything, like, you know, just to pay attention a little bit deeper. But that would probably.
So how do you feel when someone like Jim Jones comes out and says that rap is the most dangerous job out here?
Now I can understand why he would say that, because your job is to promote yourself publicly in a certain way, you know, and depending on how you advertise yourself as a rapper, that could be detrimental to you. You know what I'm saying? If your image
Absolutely.
is,
I think that has everything to do with it.
Yeah, that's it. You know, if you are promoting yourself as I'm the toughest gangster, or me and my niggas running around, we strapped up all day, this, that, and the
shooting
third.
people, killing
Facts,
ops,
you know,
of course.
you are going to bring that energy to yourself. So you're going to have to always maneuver in a space that has you on edge. Me, I always lead with love, bro, and like we gonna get some money. So, you know, outside of that I always kind of receive that back. You know, people always drive out, I got love for you, bro, or I got an idea that we can do, and this will bring in some chicken. All right, cool. What are you trying to do? You know, so I do agree with him to an extent, but I also believe that it's what you project. The energy that you give out is the energy that you'll receive back. What makes being a rapper a little bit more difficult than a job is that, you know, you have to go to these places and put yourself on display for people that you really don't know, you know, and you have to kind of be open and inviting to them sometimes to gain their support. You know, it's like, I want you to like me, so I might have to let you in my space.
But I think if you go on social media though, and you see somebody that's wholesome, their wife, their kids, their, you know what I mean, the music, the family, the clothing line, you don't look at them in light. But if you go up there and they're holding money, they're doing all this crazy shit, you know what I mean? Like it makes, you know what I mean?
It's the energy.
It's
like,
the energy that you give.
It becomes this nigga, all right, I fuck with him. I'm gonna get that nigga, bro. And that's how it changes. You know, it goes from this all right dude, he got a brand, he doing his thing. Even if you might not look at it like he getting a whole bunch of bread or whatever, I'm not money phone to the ear or nothing.
You're not a threat.
Yeah, I'm not a threat.
Nor are you, in some people's mind, are you like mocking them, because you know some people feel like that. Like, I'm broke. This nigga acting like he's so rich. He doing all this. Right. Like, they're doing all this extra shit. So some people feel like you're personally insulting them when it really doesn't have anything to do with it. But like I said, if you do all those things, like, that's the shit that happens.
So now let's shift it to Made in Norfolk, your experience at Military Circle, and how you were able to bounce back from that, bro, because that was a moment for you.
Yeah, man, that was one of the more trying moments throughout the whole course of this, you know. business. I tell everybody with business is always an up and down roller coaster, you know. But that was one of them times when the joint was going down, and I didn't know if it was gonna go back up. You know what I'm saying? Like when when the pandemic came, I was not nervous at all because, you know, we still had a social media and an online presence. People were still shopping. Even though the store itself was closed, I was still doing regular commerce and business because, you know, people were shopping. They were coming in, buying stuff, pickups and stuff like that. They weren't actually coming in shopping. In this instance, it was, you guys have to close. Where are you going to go? You know, and when I got the first store, the initial store, we got that pre-pandemic. So inflation hadn't taken effect. There were a lot of things that were different. The commercial real estate market was not quite what it is now. Now everybody trying to tax you for the dollar. So so coming out of that, you know, and then they saying we're out of the pandemic and now we got to relocate and everybody wants top dollar for property. I was like, damn, this shit about to get real. So so that was one of them roller coaster rides where I wasn't really nervous because like I said, I feel like all this is divine, man. I feel like this is a part of the journey that God got for me. So I wasn't crazy leery, but I was like, yo, this shit is really like what we about to do, you know. And just after like doing due diligence, man.
And you guys moved to Portsmouth, correct?
Nah, see, that's the thing. So that's the second store.
That's the second store.
Second
okay,
store.
so you have a second store in Portsmouth.
Congratulations,
Okay.
bro.
Yeah, so
That's big.
Like I said,
I was gonna ask you
how you do made in Norfolk and Portsmouth.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was gonna ask you. Because when I was like, hold on, man. But I'm just saying, is like not to have an original store in Norfolk would make it kind of like
kind of difficult.
You got it in Portsmouth,
Yeah,
like
see, so just due diligence. I even though I was unsure where we were gonna go, I kept looking, and ironically enough, I found a old barbershop that I used to get my hair cut at in the neighborhood that I used to live in across the street from our store. Where we were on Military Circle. So now we on Virginia Beach Boulevard. We're about 7 minutes away walking.
Okay.
So I'm still in the same area, still get the same foot traffic on a regular basis, still deeply invested in my community because now I'm literally in my neighborhood.
Right.
And so it's fire, man. But the second store now is in Portsmouth also. I just recently opened a second store with my partner Nate called Made Boutique. It's on High Street. We just trying to expand a little bit further.
So with you being a Norfolk native and you guys having a store in Portsmouth and a lot of the Black-owned businesses and nightlife have moved to Portsmouth out of Norfolk, how do you feel about that? Being that Norfolk used to be the hub of all of that and now it's completely moved over to Portsmouth.
I think that there are a lot of cultural changes that need to happen with leadership in the city for them to get that energy back. You know, that's some whole political stuff. That's why that whole change has occurred. There are a lot of powers that they have kind of aged themselves out of knowing what's going on from a cultural space. So they have older and traditional, I guess, values that just don't really work in the climate. That's why everybody's kind of ran to Portsmouth. But Portsmouth is open to
That was a good way of saying that. I got to get with Amir Driver because that was a good way of saying old racist motherfuckers in the office. Like you can't say it, but I can. I'm just saying that was a hell of a way to say that, you know. And I'm gonna use that when I'm in a different room. But like it's just crazy because it's like, yo, we went to my homeboy Twan, his birthday party was in December. He bring Jeezy to the Norva. And we leave out of there, and never have I ever, since I've been living in Virginia, ever seen downtown Norfolk so dead in my whole entire life.
When Jeezy is here.
When Jeezy is in the building. Usually the whole entire city is on fire.
If they did not get in the show.
If they didn't get in the show, we're still at the club. We're good. We were literally calling
so Granby ain't lit like it used to be back
No, Granby is completely shut down. All the black clubs are gone. I mean, even Scotty Quicks was closed down. I mean, then, you know, everything was just gone. And when we came outside, I promise you, I was like, yo, this is different. I've never seen this before. Listen, you know what I mean?
I remember when Jeezy came to the Nova and walked the entourage after.
Listen.
Okay? Like, I remember that.
That's what I'm saying. That time.
The whole street being full of people and he just walking and just everybody walking.
Yo, everybody on. I think somebody threw panties at him or something. Like, I can't remember. For real, I'm dead ass. Like, I think somebody threw some panties at him.
Doubt it.
But I'm just saying, like, yo, it's like they sucked the life out of Norfolk.
For sure.
How do you feel about that, being somebody from, born and raised in Norfolk?
I feel like there has to be, like I said, a change in the regime of leadership. And that just comes from people being more aware. I'm just trying to do my due diligence.
And voting.
Right. That's what I mean. I'm just trying to do my due diligence to make more of my contemporaries, my homies and stuff like that, aware of the importance of social politics and being involved in what's going on in your community and things of that nature. Because the reason why a lot of that shit was able to happen is because niggas ain't vote.
Right.
You know what I mean? Niggas ain't show up till it was too late. And it's one of those situations where
because I think that, African Americans definitely do not believe that they have power in the vote.
And that's something that's a conversation I have with our people a lot is, we are such survivors and used to rolling with the punches of whatever happens and making the best of it. You don't look at it like your voice or vote matters.
It matters, but it does.
And,
especially on the city level.
Especially on the city level.
You know what I mean?
That's when you have the most say and influence. And if you don't want your club closed, you got to go vote against these city noise ordinances that they be passing.
And hold these officials accountable for what? You know what I mean? Like half of them, like I said, I don't live in Norfolk, but I do know that I'm sure half of them didn't even put up a good campaign, but you don't know that because you didn't take the time out to figure it out.
You do your due diligence.
You know what I mean? And they've been just running for office, and now people are just checking off boxes. They all they hear is a name they know, and they're just checking it off. You're not looking at their views and how they align with yours. You know what I mean?
And like I said, from the space of traditional politics, you get a lot of people getting them seats, man, and they just don't leave.
Yeah.
You've been here for 40 years. These people have been voting for you
for 40 years.
40 years with this traditional way of thinking. And it's 2023. The people that are affected by your voice and viewpoint weren't even born when you were in office first elected. So it's a different time. But that just comes from just understanding. But shout out to Portsmouth for, being very, 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 very encouraging and enthusiastic when it comes to supporting Black and urban business in that area. They really trying to make a space and hub for us to come and thrive and flourish and help bring Portsmouth up. So I'm just happy to be a part of that.
Do you think
ribbon cutting tomorrow too if y'all not doing that?
Oh, great.
Dope. Do you think they are strategically doing that in Portsmouth because they want to raise the
property value?
Property value.
Because wherever Black folk is, we bring money
for sure.
Right.
So at one point Norfolk was dead. Then they allow us in Norfolk. Yep. We turned Norfolk up. Then the property value went up. They kicked us out. Now they like, we have this casino in
Portsmouth.
We need to raise the value of the property.
So me personally, right. I was about to say, like, I'm just hoping that, just Portsmouth, just the way the trip there is, it's costly. People have to pay tolls. It's just like a whole bunch going on. You know what I mean? So we're not going to get into that.
This is a great conversation, brother.
Yeah.
And long overdue, as I stated earlier, man. And it's an honor.
So, matter of fact, I forgot to ask you prior to, because I want to make sure I don't forget to ask you that, being that you are a business owner dealing in retail, what do you think is better, a brick and mortar or online?
I think it depends on the type of product that you are selling. And I tell people that all the time. The reason why my brick and mortar, I think, is as successful as it is because my branding and product is catered to the area. And it's one of those things where you can buy it online, but I've created a space where the draw is coming to the space. You know what I'm saying? Because it is catered to being in the area. So if you have retail and it is not as area driven as my store is, I would say start off with online commerce for sure, because to keep your overhead down, because that brick and mortar bill is a little different,
right?
Especially if you don't have the actual traffic to sustain it.
Right.
Just from a space of making profit, the online is the way to go. But if you create a demand, if you have a product that thrives better in a space, I would say go get a store. You know what I mean? Like I said, if I have a new clothing line now called Product of the Environment. That's what we sell inside the Made Boutique in Portsmouth.
Okay.
If that's what I started with, I probably would have started with online first, But because Made in Norfolk is
already has its own name.
Right, it already has its own name. It's already tailored to the city. People, it's one of those things where if somebody sees a Norfolk sign in Norfolk, what's this? It provides inquisition. I'm going to come check it out, So I think it depends on what you're selling, whatever the branding is.
Okay. Well, woof. Listen.
My bad.
No, we had a great
conversation.
Yes, a great conversation.
And I drove all the way from New York down here for this,
brother. I appreciate
this, bro, and it was well worth it. It was, in fact, it was more than what I expected because I really got a chance to know you firsthand now. You know, there's a lot of this conversation was needed, I think, for not only for the culture, but just for people to understand the levels when you call yourself an artist.
Right.
It's more than just going in the booth and dropping bars or whatever. Like you really got to put yourself in a good space.
I want to get back to the space of artists feeling they have a responsibility to their fans. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like everybody's like, oh, I don't have nothing to do with it. I don't have responsibility. They don't want that responsibility, but that's actually comes with this.
All a part of that job.
It is. It's a part of that job.
And you can't denounce it, once you do things to put yourself in a public eye.
Right. Exactly.
You can't say, oh, I'm not a role model or I'm not this. It's impossible for you to say that because once you're put on a pedestal, people that look up to that pedestal are going to feel like you are what they should be trying to aspire to if they like whatever it is that you're doing.
Absolutely.
So you can't ever be like, nah, man, I can't do this or I'm not this, because you are, even if you don't want to be. If it's something
even if you don't want to be,
you didn't sign up for it. You did.
You did.
And you have to be.
And you know it.
Yeah, right. And you know it. You know it.
You know it.
So,
so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up with my very last question. And that question is, what does legacy mean to you?
Black excellence. Let them see. Legacy. But, it's funny that you asked that because I listen to that song very often. And it didn't start to hold as much weight for me as it does until I had my sons. I have 3 children. I have a 5-year-old son. That's my firstborn. I have my daughter through marriage. That's my baby girl, Milani. She's 6. And then I have my youngest son, Cody, who is 1. And certain things like with them just started to resonate more. Like, damn, when you see things like Dame say you hustling for your last name, that's really real. So it was like, I used to say to myself, like, all of these things that I'm doing can't be in vain. My son can't feel like, my sons can't feel like, my dad said he a rapper, but I don't see him doing no rap stuff. Or my dad said he do this, but I don't, I always wanted them to feel like the things that I did made them proud to be my kids or proud that that I was their dad. So for me, it's super important. I want to leave impression for them on how to move, on how you can be yourself and still be successful and be progressive and be positive and not have to do all this other bullshit that you might see in the world. So for me, legacy is like everything, man. Because like I said, I got 3 kids, man. I got 3 kids. I got 2 boys, and they really mimic and watch everything that I do now. Like my little girl, so I'm doing career day at her school in June. She don't know yet. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because her staff, the teachers from her school hit me and was like, hey, we know who you are. Can you come to career day? Like shit like that is just different to me, man. So I always think about the things that I do with them in mind. Like if this goes and I show them, are they gonna be proud? Are they gonna feel like, damn, I can do this too because my dad did this? So it's super, super big for me, man. Like my oldest son, he is with his mom right now. But anytime they got any type of work to do in regards to drawing pictures or any type of assignments, this is about me and the stuff that I be doing. So it's like it's fire because it just shows that, like you said, that impact is real. It's hard to accept it when it comes from outsiders, but when it comes from my kids, they be like, damn, bro, you really are doing something, So yeah, legacy is really big for me, man. I'm trying to get a statue of me built in Norfolk so I can take them there and be like, look, that's me, yo. I hate statues, yo. I hate statues. I hate them. But
you want one of yourself.
Why not? Why not?
I hate them. But legitimately though, legacy is everything, man. Like I just want my mama to be proud. I want my father to be proud. My kids to feel like they have something to look forward to and live up to. I want to have something to leave to them. Like it's everything for sure.
Well, listen, from our point of view, you have definitely accomplished that. I'm sure everybody in your life is proud of you.
I appreciate that.
You're doing a hell of a job.
And,
well, listen,
there's no better way to close it out, man. This is a great conversation.
Thank you.
Good interview.
Thank you, Amir. We appreciate you coming through. This is definitely a great conversation today. Definitely a lot of jewels been dropped.
Yeah, for sure. I
definitely can't wait to chop and screw this up so we can get those out there because I feel like a lot of artists, just even entrepreneurs, you touch so many different lanes. That's what makes you special because you can appeal to the artists. You can appeal to entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you're a husband, your father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can appeal to those that are in that lane.
Yeah.
Community activists, and just an all around good person.
Yeah, I'm
You know what I
trying,
mean?
man.
So. Thank you so much for coming. We super appreciate you. This was a
Appreciate
great
y'all for having me.
conversation.
Cheers, my brother.
Cheers
Thank
to
you.
y'all,
Yes.
man. Cheers
To
to
more-
y'all,
more-
man.
more
Cheers to
wins.
y'all.
Think about
Yeah,
us when you
more
smoke that
wins.
cigar.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely smoke this
Yeah,
cigar. We
think
might
about us when
gut
you
it.
smoke that cigar. Look,
Definitely, you earned it. So you got to spark
have
that
no
stick.
idea.
Yeah, we'll stuff it.
Spark that
That's what-
stick up.
Stuff it, yeah.
Spark that stick up.
Yes.
Word.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
One more shout out to our sponsor, Vakila,
Vakila.
that got us over here.
Vakila.
I'm a little.
Vakila is the world's first vodka and tequila infused drink.
Yes.
Remember that. And it's black owned. So let's support black.
Yo, XL, you literally sound like a commercial right there.
I've been practicing. I've been practicing.
Yes.
I've been practicing the
Make
pitch.
sure you guys follow us on YouTube, Instagram, everything.
Like,
is
subscribe, and share.
Nostalgia TV. This is definitely one for the books. So
Yes.
thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. And
I'll see y'all in the
we are
next
out.
run.
Appreciate y'all having me again.